Good morning and welcome to the absolutely beautiful Newtownabbey Way. I'm just going to spin around to be able to show you. We're in a gorgeous forest. It's probably one of the most beautiful places where I live that's really very close to me. This area behind me is what I'm going to draw today, and I've got my layers on, so I'm hopefully going to do this quickly. Thinking of playing about with some Faber Castell graphite pencils that are water soluble, and I've also got some Derwent Inktense with me as well. So we'll see how we go. Whatever we don't get done here, we will get done in the studio. But what I want to do now is get the drone up and get some beautiful shots of this gorgeous place. So, come on with me and let's get set up outside in this beautiful, I think it's probably about 0 degrees today, but let's get set up and get ready and let's make some art together. So come on. Okay, so here I am, I'm all set up. I've got my little sketchbook. It's a different kind of a shape. I really like how elongated it is. It's, you know, portrait nearly that kind of a pano portrait or the letterbox style. We've got our Faber Castell Graphite tint aquarelle, which are just absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to get my gloves on and see how drawing with gloves can actually work. So we've got a variety of different sort of densities from HB up to 8B. So the other thing that'll be interesting is how well actually having the gloves on effect, and it could give quite an interesting effect, but like how standing up can really change what you're doing. All of these things are so interesting in terms of how they can affect the actual final outcome. So if you're ever in the Newtownabbey area of Belfast, then this is a gorgeous place to come to, and it feels like a total oasis in the middle of quite a busy part of the world. I'm just really effectively using continuous line, not totally, but in some ways just trying to get the basic sort of structures to where these trees are. See if that light is any better for you. And we want to move pretty quickly because it is a cold day today, and not wanting to stay here forever by any stretch, but also just to enjoy the experience of setting up and drawing outside is just lovely in this kind of weather. It's just something totally different. We don't normally get weather like this in the winter, so it's something that is to be enjoyed when it's so beautiful like this morning. Right, let me shift to something a little bit stronger. I'm going to move to the 2B, so you can let me know what you think. That's a little sort of wooden structure across here. Now, I'm obviously not going to get masses and masses of details in because of the gloves, but also, as I said before, sometimes these things can really add to the entirety of the scene. Go on. This is where. Morning. Where when you're drawing in a public place like this, I always get a little bit like, oh no, what's this dog going to do? There was one before there that was completely soaking, and I thought this could be a total and utter disaster. And the reality is that it could be, but you're outside, so you have to remember that's part of the deal when you're outside. This is a public space, and therefore the public use it, and rightly so. And I'm choosing to draw on it, and others will be choosing to do other things in it. There's another one coming, I think. Good morning. Okay, so let's go much darker with this. The HB and the 2B aren't really cutting it for me, I have to say. And this is the side that's darker. We're getting there now. And I find that any time, I've said this many times before, but whenever you bring in something darker, it always adds this contrast and gives this kind of a modelling sort of 3D effect. Now the great thing about these pencils is that the sketch is not the finish, and therefore you can use them quite differently than you would other pencils, because obviously they're aquarelle, you add water and they're going to change. So that's just a lovely part of the process, and very much changes things, because as I said, you've got that extra dimension to it. Even my toes are getting cold just sitting here. Go on ahead, no, you're grand. Kind gentleman asking if he was going to obscure what I'm drawing by walking in front of me. Unfortunately, I'm not that quick. Also, whether you like it or not, it is something of interest for people whenever you're out drawing in public. So that car go by. Oh no, it's not a car, it's a train. Love seeing trains. When you're drawing in public, it is something of interest. Therefore, letting people have the opportunity to come up and ask you questions is a lovely part of it. Now, I appreciate that that's not for everybody. I really enjoy that aspect of this, but it's important to note that and people are so encouraging. They're not out to tell you how horrendous your artwork is. I don't think I've ever had that, actually. That would be a little bit strange. Now, let's move to the very darkest one for this. Say what you think, whether there is still some degree of control. Now, these are good leather gloves. I've had these probably for well over 10 years, and they absolutely keep me warm. Now, look at this. My bench is slightly awkward, but we'll not be concerned about that. This is painting outside or drawing outside is very much about the experience of doing it, and also about noticing that whenever you do anything plein air, it really is, you'll find it's so different. There's a sense of pressure on you, that you want to get it done, and you want to move really quite quickly. There's another barking friend coming beside us here. Now there's a bin located about there, but we're gonna avoid that bin. It sounds like a noisy one. Just gonna keep adding in little bits of detail here. Good morning. Quite a quiet one. It was the other one further on up that was the noisy. Okay, so we're not wanting to spend forever on this. This is my little flat-edged water brush, which was actually in the car and was really quite frozen. So I'm going to get that off. Huh? Can you see the little bits of icicles on it? It's not mad. Not normally like this in Northern Ireland. Okay, so it's going to be a wee bit clumsy, but these aquarelle pencils are really quite amazing. Just how just squeezing it off a page there, how the introduction of the water really, but like the Inktense really makes quite a incredible difference to the actual overall final piece. Now, this is not watercolour paper, and therefore I always find that quite interesting. Now it's obviously going to buckle on me, but it's also going to be quite nice. Morning. That is actually ice forming on the page. Goodness me. Shows you how cold it is. So much of plein air is working with what you get. Excuse me. And appreciating that there's another train. And really letting that happen. It's just so lovely the way it really does soften all of these lines. It's going to give me quite an abstract view of things. Right, okay. So that's with medium number 1, and then we're going to try it with our the Chinese, or no, it's not the Chinese ink, it's Indian ink in the Derwent Inktense watercolour pencil. But this has been with the Faber Castells. Okay, so we're set up with a double page this time, and what we're going to do is I'm going to do this. Oh, even already it just feels so much better. This is the undergrowth kind of section here. Sorry, move my camera so that you can see what I'm doing. I think I'm going to leave that bench out this time. Wasn't overly fussed on the bench, to be honest. So let's not make it a feature. Remember, you're the artist. You get to choose to edit whatever it is that you want to do. I'm going to move quickly because my toes are absolutely freezing. Don't need to suffer for your art. It needs to be something that's enjoyable. Getting in these overhanging trees here, which is, and then some of these I can't even remember. What do they call the stalks of a tree? The bark of the tree in there. I'm going over the middle of the page. I really quite enjoy doing this over the middle of the page thing. I was always reluctant on it because you can't actually, what can you do with that when it's done apart from just look at it? And I think that, the more that I paint and sketch like this, becomes about just the process of it and just the enjoyment of it. Got 2 rises in the path here, one over here. Got all these bushes. Now this is it just feels so freeing after I think probably the fineness of the Faber Castell, because they're more pencils. Let me pull that down a bit so you can see. Bit more of a shrubbery going on there. And this much darker area here. And those, going to get them even darker actually, because they really are. And holding the pencil back and turning it as we go to be able to keep it in some sort of sharpness. I have got my Faber Castell with me if I want to use it, but much nicer just to keep going, particularly in this environment because it's so cold. And have I mentioned that it's cold? I'm starting to sound like I complain. Okay, and then much more get the branch in here. Just getting the tree work and the branch work done here. Keep it organic, keep it moving. The things like the bin that's up ahead, I mean, it's just getting totally nixed because I don't want a bin in it. Don't want that evidence of which looks like mess really in the picture, even though it is there. But keeping it fast and free, not making negative judgments. Hopefully you're not hearing me go on and on about, oh goodness, I messed this up and I messed that up. I'm just enjoying this process, enjoying this moment of being here in this place, and enjoying the medium that we're working in. And the pathways kind of going on along here. I mean, the branch work is so intricate, so much happening. We're just suggesting. That's all we're doing. Just suggesting. Again, let's get these darker points much darker. And the good thing about this, the Indian ink, Derwent Inktense, is, I mean, it's a black, so it's really strong, which is just great. Really, really helpful for us in what we're doing. Okay, now let's go to our frozen brush and begin. You can see there what I'm doing. So I was getting so carried away that remember that I have actually got a camera around my neck that I need to be attending to. I'm just using and again, this is where the wonder of the flat edge brush, because it just gives you so many more options and the details that you can bring into it. Doesn't seem to be quite as frozen this time. It's not interesting. Don't know why that is. Maybe it will get in a wee minute. I maybe didn't clear off all of the icy bits from before. And yes, it's letting me splat. And also I can take some of the darker tones, giving the brush a squeeze to load it up a little bit more. And those splats were unintentional, and yet I am delighted they're there. And you can see the brush is separating there on me. I don't quite know why it's doing that now. I want to keep those keep the fibers together. So this is this sort of side of the path here, just getting deeper and deeper in this section here. And also look how I can add in so much detail just with that side of that brush. Do you know, I was in this forest about a year ago and just so absolutely delighted to not be in my day job in the school on a Friday. Just felt such a sense of privilege and just really being blessed to have that opportunity. And here, really a year on, after starting venturing into YouTube, and just that sense of privilege of getting to do things like this, and folks like you are taking the time out of your lives to watch it. Hopefully they're enjoyable to you. Just working away here, moving the brush around to give that sense of the busy undergrowth of the trees.
your coffee with you?
No, not yet. I'll go home and get a cup. I know it's very slippy there.
You're right, you can't draw.
And there we are. Now, compared to the other one, I'm not going to go over because it's not dry. But compared to the other one, I am really pleased with this one. So that's me finished for now. My toes are getting slightly cold, so I think it's indication that it's time to actually move on. But you can let me know which one you prefer. This, for me, is the one that works the best. Even look at the graininess and how it's separating into that paper, and just the brushwork and how well these Derwent Inktense pencils go. I am a fan, Derwent. I love them. Hope you do too. And here, if you have never tried them, go and get yourself a pencil and have a go. Maybe £2 to £3 in the UK, maybe that's between $3 to $5 in the US. Absolutely brilliant. So that's me all packed up. Really enjoy being here. The tips of my fingers are now quite sore, and my toes are cold and very sore, but it has been a great experience. And I mean, look at this place. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? I really hope you've enjoyed being here with me. The winner out of the two was definitely the Derwent Inktense. As always, like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, you'll get notified of new videos. Also head to my website www.woodwardswatercolours.co.uk, and you'll find out lots of information about buying my art, private chasing, commission, all sorts of things. But excited to read your comments on this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you sometime soon. Bye for now.